Shalom from the National Council of Young Israel here at our headquarters in Paramus, New Jersey. We are happy to launch our newest program under the guidance of our new board of directors called 4 Minutes of Torah. Each and every week, you'll be introduced to a new Rav within the Young Israel movement who will share with you words of Torah. With that very happy introduction, let us begin.
First, I would like to thank Rabbi Benjamin Hammer for his hard work in putting together this very beautiful and very wonderful program of Young Israel rabbis presenting. The holiday of Chanukah presents us with so many different themes, very beautiful themes for a beautiful holiday. One of the practices that we have on Chanukah is that the very last day of Chanukah, we continue and finish the Parsha of the Nesiim, and we go into the Parsha of Baha'aloscha, where it speaks about the menorah. And when we read the details of the commandment of the menorah that were given for the Mishkan and for the Beis HaMikdash, at the very end we read, Vaya'as Kain Aharon, that Aharon did thusly. And Rashi famously says, Malamed Shaloshina. It teaches us that Aharon did not deviate at all from each element of this commandment. However, there is a very interesting interpretation that the Malbim has on that phrase, Vaya'as Kain Aharon. And first, the Malbim tells us that if you look at the creation story, where Hashem creates the universe, you find a very interesting anomaly. You'll find that everything that Hashem created, first Hashem commands it. Yehi Rakiya b'toch hashomayim. And what does it say? Vayhi Chain. God says, let there be vegetation. What does it say? Vayhi Chain. Each one of the commandments that Hashem gave to creation, it came to being. Vayhi Chain. It was thus. It was so. There's only one exception. And that's the very first thing that Hashem created, which was light. What does the Torah say? Vayoma Elokim Yehi Or. Let there be a light. It doesn't say Vayhi Chain, and it was so. It says Vayehi Or, and there was light. Says the Malbim, what is telling us is, because it was not Vayehi Chain, it was not the light that God had commanded. Because as Chazal tell us, God looked at that primordial light, at that original light, and God said, it's not proper for the citizens of this world who can sin. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be gones, I'm going to hide a litzadikim la'asad lava for the righteous in the future. The question is, where do you hide light? And the Malbim says that Hashem hid the light, the primordial light, the original light, the light that was hidden in the letters of the Torah. That's where that light is. And the Bnei Yissaschar says exactly the same thing, that the hidden light, the Or HaGonos, is found in the words of the Torah. Now, we're very familiar with light, many types of light. Some lights are brighter than other lights. We have lights of different frequencies, of different wavelengths. We have ultraviolet light, we have infrared light, we have X-ray, we have radio waves, we have so many different kinds of light. But all of those lights can only show you what was there all along. But in the Or HaGonos, which is a new light, a different way of looking at things, you can see more. More is revealed than you were able to see before with the regular kinds of light. And in a sense, the original light is that light, the light that could be used to see things correctly. Because we see many things, but maybe we're not seeing them as they really are. And maybe we think that everything we see is all that exists. But in fact, that light, that Or HaGonos, will show us that there are things that exist that we can't readily see. Not everything you see is everything there is. How do we come to view the world correctly? How do we know what is really there in exquisite clarity, not obscured by the dim lights that exist in the physical world? And the question is, where is the greatest light? Which is the light that we should pursue? How do we know how to prioritize various elements of life? What is of ultimate significance in the life in which we live? Clearly, for Jews such as ourselves, who are observant Jews, who believe in the revelation of the Torah, it's in the Torah. The Torah is God's light. Ki ner mitzvah v'Torah or. And from the very beginning, the goal of learning Torah is to tap into that light. That's where the light is hidden. That's where it is. Implement that light. And the menorah has always been a symbol of wisdom, a symbol of Torah. The kindling of the menorah light in the Beis HaMikdash, that which was commanded to Aharon for all generations, is to petition the Jews to look for things in a different light, in a Torah light. And therefore the Malbim says, Vaya'as Kain Aharon, that Aharon, by kindling the menorah, which is the symbol of the Torah, Aharon made that Kain, the original Kain that was missing. Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or, it should have said Vayehi Chaim, but it was missing. And Aharon brought back the Chain of that first creation, of the Or, the original light, to teach us that in what light we should see things, what is of value, what is of importance. And that is the holiday of Chanukah. The Chashmonaim, who are the descendants of Aharon, the Kohanim, the priests, they were not willing to go along with the rest of the world and many of the Jews to assume that the light of the Greek Enlightenment was the true light. They saw it as a limited light. The Lamed Vav, the 36 candles, the Lavav Nesivos, Chochmah of the Torah, that's the true light. And that's why they were rewarded with the miracle of light. Not any light, but the light of the menorah, the light of the Or HaGonos, the light where the Or HaGonos is in the Osios HaTorah. And that perhaps is a lesson. Perhaps that is an insight that will help us. We live in difficult times, but the light of the Torah has always shown the way for us.